All right, welcome back. Just today, two House Democrats sent a letter to cable television providers calling for the cancellation of us here at Newsmax, Fox News, and OAN. Part of it reads, both Newsmax and OAN ran incendiary reports of false information following the elections and continue to support an angry and dangerous subculture that will continue to operate semi-openly. What a load, right? As a violent mob was breaching the doors of the Capitol, Newsmax's coverage called the scene a sort of romantic idea. This letter was sent to Comcast, AT&T, Spectrum, Dish, Verizon, Cox, and Altice. Brendan Carr, one of the commissioners for the Federal Communications Commission, has come out denouncing this ludicrous attack on free speech, and he joins us now. Sir, thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, great to be with you. Thank you.
All right, we want to read part of the statement that you released today in response to all of this. It says, quote, the Democrats are sending a message that this is as clear as it is troubling. These regulated entities will pay a price if the targeted newsrooms do not conform to Democrats' preferred political narratives. This is a chilling transgression of the free speech rights that every media outlet in this country enjoys. Explain what they're trying to do here, in your opinion.
Yeah, this is really a stunning attempt by these Democrat lawmakers to bully newsrooms just like Newsmax. In their view, this conversation that you and I are having right now is not one that your viewers should be allowed to listen in on. And I think what we're seeing here is a movement that started at least in 2016, where Democrats were trying to bully internet providers, websites, Twitter, Facebook, into shutting down conservative speech. They believed that they had some success with that endeavor, and now they're trying to extend their gains, in their view, and shut down conservative outlets from cable news as well. I think this is a chilling transgression of free speech values, and one that we should all speak out on.
Yeah, I mean, we watched for years during the Trump administration. I mean, some of the clips are just hysterical of what the left-wing media did with the Russia collusion story for years. I mean, they took it so far, as far as the opinion shows went, the things that their guests were allowed to say, very, very dangerous, talking about the President of the United States literally being in bed with the Russian president and making policy based on what Russia wants. It all turned out to be not true. I don't remember any calls for them to be canceled.
Yeah, to your point, no government official should be sending out a letter asking what ethical and moral principles guide decisions about what news to carry. It's none of our business. And to your point, we shouldn't be going down this path. But if you want to open up the can of worms of having the government examine news stories in terms of which are fake, which are true, there is fertile ground from outlets that we labeled left or right. And so I think the First Amendment transgression here is doubly so because it is targeting specific newsrooms that have political viewpoints that are different than the California Democrats that sent this letter.
Yeah, and those two Democrats are Anna, and I don't know the last name particularly, Eshoo, I believe, and Jerry McNierney, both wrote this letter. What percentage of Congress, I guess, of Democrats, do you think that they represent writing this letter? Do you think that this is a widespread, widely held belief on the left that we should start canceling free speech in this country?
Well, here's the silver lining from this really chilling transgression, which is rumor was this letter was circulated among a range of Democrats for a couple of weeks. Thankfully, it only ended up having 2 signatures. I'm hoping that that's a sign that there wasn't a broader appetite on the left to go down this path. But I'm not so sure. I mean, again, we have this growing approach in the U.S. Towards trying to cancel any political speech that doesn't fit with Democrat orthodoxy. So while it's good news that there's only 2 people signing this letter, I think we're far from out of the woods as a country right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The letter, now we read one of the claims of the letter. It falsely claims that one of our guests, and I was actually anchoring the day that the Capitol riot happened. I was here for the breaking news. One of our guests called the Capitol riot a sort of a romantic idea, is the quote from the letter. It's a lie. The truth is this. The statement was made long before the violence began that day. That statement of the romantic idea was made while the president was giving his speech, before anybody had become violent. So they're already lying. And we just want to remind everybody watching that from day one, we have condemned the violence that happened there. And we kept an open mind on allegations of election fraud. We did. We listened to it. We never said it was what happened. We just said we're going to hear all points and we're going to see if there's investigations that come from this. But here's a reality check for the liberals about how we handled the violence that happened at the Capitol.
The images that I've seen this afternoon at the Capitol, frankly, disgust me. Violence has no place in our society. Destruction of public property has no place. Disrespecting law enforcement is not acceptable. This is un-American. This is not what we do. We are better than this, and we must denounce this.
We condemn the violence. We condemn it, all right? The people who did illegal things must be arrested.
A small fraction of Wednesday's massive D.C. crowd took it way too far, and we at Newsmax condemned that. I mean, we said this stuff about 1,000 times in the weeks after that happened. It's just not enough, though. I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah, there's a great statement that, never let a crisis go to waste. And I think the Democrats are seizing this to push a long-running desire to control the political narrative in this country. Look, everyone that I know of has rightly condemned what happened on January 6th. Look, speaking personally, my entire family was up there inside the Capitol complex that day, from my wife to my two youngest kids. And I spoke out very clearly on this issue as it was happening. But this idea that we should use that as a way of getting at cable providers so they drop this channel, drop Fox News, drop OAN is certainly a bridge too far. And I think it's incumbent on all of us to stand up and protect the culture of free speech in this country. These lawmakers aren't going to be able to pass a law that achieves this result, but they are certainly trying to use their bully pulpit to put pressure on companies, put pressure on advertisers to achieve their preferred political outcome. And I think that's just wrong.
Yeah, it is interesting. All right. Brendan Carr of the Federal Communications Commission. Sir, thank you so much for the time. Thanks for the support, too. We do appreciate that.